already and you've seen some other content that you like, go ahead and subscribe. But today we're going to go ahead and talk about a few reasons why I got rid of the Ducati and I went ahead and got this Yamaha Bolt. So it looks like I got to get gas. So we'll go ahead and just give you a few reasons on why I wanted to get rid of the Ducati before we get there. So main thing, the ability to customize the Ducati SuperSport that I had. It was a 2018. I wasn't very able to do that. For one, it's hard to even be able to get your bike into a shop that has Ducati certified technicians. Not a lot of places around Arizona that can do that for you. And then the ones that do want to overcharge, and I'm just not that type of guy. I don't like overpaying for stuff. So that was one big thing. I was looking for an exhaust. The bike didn't sound very good. It had the stock exhaust on there. So I was looking to do some exhaust work to it. And I mean, everything that you really could do was like a bunch of slip-ons. Anything worth your time, I think, was like $1,200 and up. And it still didn't really sound that great. Like $1,200, I'm expecting my bike to sound like a MotoGP bike. And it just wasn't on that level. So just kind of turned me off in that little aspect of being able to make the bike really yours and make it exactly what you want. But aside from that, honestly, I don't know what it was, but and a lot of Ducati owners say this, that you kind of get the bike and at first you're excited and then it just kind of sits in the garage over time and you don't really ride it that much and then you just end up getting rid of it. And that's exactly what happened for me. So it didn't really have me too inspired to go out and ride, even though it was a cool, race red, traditional Ducati. It just didn't really inspire me to get out and go, do what I love to do, which is be on two wheels. So in terms of the Ducati, it was a great bike. It was enjoyable. The riding position for a sport bike, for SuperSport, for one, was very, very comfortable. And it had the Brimbos and the Olin shocks, and it was a great bike. It was all done up well. But something about, I don't know, I feel like most of the stuff that you could do to it was already done. So I just kind of, wanted to go another direction. And that's what brought me to, wanting to build a bobber. I mean, I've had 3 sport bikes in the past, and this Yamaha Bolt is the first, technically cruiser that I've ever had. So obviously a whole different world, whole different realm of sport bike, but yeah, or not sport bike, but bike. But yeah, it just, I don't know, it kind of just switched overnight. I was like, man, not necessarily switched overnight, because I wanted to build a bobber for a while, but I always kept getting myself in a sport bike. So finally went ahead and just did it, got myself a cruiser, and now I'm more inspired to ride than ever. Alright guys, full tank, we're back. Look both ways before we pull out here. But cool, so I've talked about the Ducati. Now I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about the Bolt and some of the things that I really enjoy about it. The first thing I think obviously is gonna be the sound. Going from a cruiser or going to a cruiser from a sport bike, two totally different sounds that you can get out of these vehicles. So for me, even in the car realm, I like something that sounds a little bit more strong. Let's see what this guy's doing, bro. Are you gonna use your turn blinker? What? Go. Is he turning right or is he turning left? My dude, what are you doing? There's no way. Wow, he just made a left-hand turn with no turn blinker. That was the weirdest left-hand turn I've ever seen in my life. Totally could have made that. People in Arizona, man. But yeah, when it came down to the sound, man, like I said, even with cars, I owned a 5.0 at one point, and it was 2018 S550. It was nice, GT, and I had a cat delete, and I think that was really it. It had headers and a cat delete, and it sounded amazing. So even with cars, like I'm not into the high pitch, you know, JDM type stuff. It's got to sound like some muscle. So kind of transferred over to how I am on the bike. With this Vance and Hines, it sounds great, and especially with the baffles out. And personally, I really don't think it's too loud. It's not any louder than, a pretty average Harley rider. So I think it's safe for traffic, and it's really not too obnoxious when, like I haven't had any neighbors complain, or doesn't really turn heads around the neighborhood. People just kind of keep minding their business. So I think it's perfect. And it just feels different, man. Like when you get a full throttle, not a full throttle, but when you get a good grip of the throttle and you're accelerating and you're rolling through your gears, there's just a rumble and a feeling that you really can't get on a sport bike. So sound is A1. Now in terms of ride quality, again, the Ducati SuperSport was SuperSport S, but it was beautiful. And like Alcantara seat, riding position was not too aggressive. Like if you're gonna be on a SuperSport, that's really the bike that you want to get. Come on, brother. This man is sitting here doing under the speed limit. So yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get a sport bike and you don't want to be hunched over with your chest on your tank everywhere you go, the Ducati SuperSport S is it. But this is even still a step up from that, obviously, with it just being a whole different style. I mean, it's a cruiser. So personally, I'm enjoying, riding around on a cruiser a lot more. It just kind of is more my style. It fits me a little bit better. Both bikes are about the same size, same weight. The Ducati was like a 939 or 937, and this is like a 904 something cc. I don't know, 940 something. They just call it a 950. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel too different weight wise. It definitely took, like, I think the first day it was a little bit different getting adjusted to the weight distribution at slower speeds. But I would say I'm a pretty experienced rider, so it wasn't too hard to figure out. And yeah, I mean, aside from that, really, it was about style, sound, and just enjoyability. Like for me, now that I have the Yamaha, the Bolt, it just really feels like I'm inspired to get up and go ride. And I didn't feel that way so much on the Ducati. And again, not knocking it. It was a great bike. It was a fun bike, but just wasn't really for me. So I think that's kind of a message to everybody out there. Everybody, because I grew up always wanting to ride sport bikes. Never really looked at Harleys. Never really cared too much about any other realm of bike but a sport bike. Super sport to be exact, not necessarily like dual sport or anything like that. But man, like as you kind of go through your journey of owning bikes and being a rider, I promise you your taste is going to change, for one, but two, you'll just kind of find what you enjoy, what you like, what fits you, and how you really want to ride every day. So me, I'm a pretty relaxed rider. I'm not weaving through traffic. I hardly go on the freeway, even though I can ride on the freeway. I don't have a problem doing it. I just don't if I don't need to. So I feel like this bike fit me perfectly for that. I mean, for one, it's a 5-speed, so see what that's like on the freeway. I haven't even taken this bike in particular on the freeway yet, but I really do wonder what that's going to be like at highway speeds, not having the 6th gear. So that's probably like the only con, really, man. But that and no ABS on this bike. But aside from that, everything else has been extremely enjoyable. So those there, guys, are my reasons for switching from the SuperSport S, the Ducati, the quote unquote, I wouldn't say top of the line, but the top of the line brand for sure, and going on to something a little bit more common, household name like Yamaha. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. What's your guys' style? Are you riding a SuperSport, and have you been considering a cruiser, or kind of vice versa? Because I've been on both, and could definitely tell you a little bit about both. So aside from there, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.